All right, so should we get started with the Q&A?
Go for it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hold on.
False alarm.
All right, so if you guys have any questions, I think it's in the bottom little bar. Not really familiar with Zoom.
Bottom right, and then you want to have on your chat, go to all panelists. That way we can all see it. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them on the right-hand side under chat.
No, not under chat.
Okay, don't listen to me.
There is a Q&A.
Alex has it under control.
All right, excuse me. Sorry, I was looking in director mode. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
All right, so before we start answering questions, should we go around and just introduce everybody?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so first we have Mr. Dustin Brandt Hyer. He was the executive producer and the director of photography. Mr. Sam Brooks, the executive producer and the director of the film.
Cheers.
Christopher Gentle, who was the composer and orchestrator of all the music.
Legend.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Shawn Philip Cornelius, who played Nate.
Hey,
I miss you.
I miss you guys. What's up?
And Mr. Dallas James Pritt, who played Dalton and was the creator of the film. And I'm Alex Pineiro, and I'm hosting. All right. So we already have a couple questions, so let's get into it.
Oh, now I see it. Okay.
All right.
The bar.
Miss Green asked, tell us about the decision to only have background music. Who wants to take that one?
I'm going to let Dallas tackle that, and if I need to, I'll jump in.
I'll piggyback.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sam could help me out on this one. I mean, we just just because of the message of the film, we really wanted, we were a big believer that we didn't want it to be preachy. We wanted the actions to speak louder than the words. And we wanted people to be able to use their own God-given emotions and empathize and see it from a feeling point of view versus trying to tell them something specific of what they should believe or think about the situation. And we thought this would be the way to do it. I mean, Sam, I don't know, am I covering it?
The inspiration that Dal sent me at the very, very beginning was called In a Heartbeat, correct?
In a Heartbeat, yeah.
In a Heartbeat, and it was phenomenal. And it was almost like a Pixar. I feel like a couple students did it, and it was nominated for a bunch of awards. It was only music, and realistically, 70% of human communication is nonverbal anyway. So to tell a story through the conduction of this music that Chris did, to give us like a guideline and kind of carry the nonverbal communication between Shawn and Dallas was just such a powerful way to, like you said, to not make this preachy and just tell this beautiful story, to tell Dallas's truths. And it was, for me, it's like, if we could do this and portray what we want to get across, I think we've really done our jobs. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful the way it turned out. So,
yeah.
Ooh, we got more questions coming in the pot. I'm enjoying it.
James wants to, he said, hey guys, what an awesome movie to represent the struggle between Christianity and homosexuality. Loved it. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
And he also asked, will there be a sequel?
We're just trying to get the first one off.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a long form feature.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd have to throw that for that.
Dustin's the guy who makes that happen. So if he says that, then you heard it here first, people.
Okay, Madeline Oldham, loved the film. How did it feel to include so many people in such a personal story?
Oh, incredible. Absolutely incredible. The whole thing from start to finish, as me and Dallas at a coffee shop, and we were just sitting there like, how do we tell this story? And then Dustin came on, and Tyler came on, and Christopher came on, and everyone just gravitated, and our locations were free, and because of the story itself, and the people, all of our extras were just the most beautiful people ever. And
amen.
They were so awesome, and they came in with such great attitudes, and they really made our job's that much easier because everyone came ready to play every day. They were so grateful to be on set, and it was an honor to have them all there and to be a part of this like inspirational personal story for me. You know, it was just this, and to me, it showed me like the power of storytelling in and of itself, and how it's such a community process. And I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Okay.
Anybody else? Am I just the only one here that thought that was?
Oh no, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
It tells a universal story in a very specific kind of niche, but that's why I hooked on to it.
I dig it. It's kind of weird that I wish I could hear like other people's like, yeah, it's fantastic. Like,
Okay. Michaela C., how did you go about creating the script, and how much was nailed down and how much was the actors?
Great question. We went about it in a more of a community type way, between me, Dallas,
3 months.
and Christopher and Tyler. We took the story that Dallas and I from that coffee shop had. We completely rearranged it. Christopher came on and really helped out a lot with the story, and just it was a very communicative process, and it kind of just happened. I don't know.
I think our first meeting and I got like officially like what we like picked it up like, and Dustin picked up the project and everything. What, September? Is that accurate? And then
I think so.
And then we worked
Yeah.
October, November, and then we finally filmed it middle of December. So it was like a 3-month process, I would say.
Yeah, that sounds right. To
Yeah.
me.
From concept to shooting. Yeah.
But it was more just like a collaborative process. That's what I'm looking for. And it wasn't just like one person, here's a script, let's film it. It was like, here's a script, what do we need to do to make it better? And it was just every week, just getting it, working it, tweaking it for 2 months until it was where we wanted it. And we shot it in a day and a half, 2 days.
3 days.
3
Yeah.
days. Flew by.
He wasn't there. I'm just kidding. That was a long week.
It was a fun week, man. It was so much fun.
And then I shot the Bible inserts during quarantine.
Yeah, that was after.
Really? Wow.
My Facebook's going off the hook. How do I get rid of it?
Oh, also, before we go to the next question, we want to hear from you guys what your favorite part of the film was, what inspired you from the film. So definitely put that in the chat because we want to know.
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say.
I don't think he was talking to us.
No, that.
I loved everything.
Okay. Damon Galipsy, what was the significance of slowing down the actions?
Dustin, you take that one.
Everything's cool.
Y'all, I don't know. That's Damon Gillespie from NBC's Rise. I'm gonna give a little plug right there. Damon Gillespie. Hey, that was also my college roommate. Hey.
Send him that flex, man.
Nice.
Flex.
Yeah. Everything's just so
EW.
Oh, no.
You just said ew.
Oh, my bad.
So, do we want to answer that?
What's the question? Sorry.
Hang on, let me get it again.
It was what's the significance of slowing down actions?
I mean, I just thought it felt more powerful. Everything in slow-mo just gives you, you feel it more, you know, especially when it's next to some beautiful composed score. Just it brings out the emotion more in the character and the action.
Gonna make me blush.
And we shot it to where we could always speed it up to normal.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, why not do that?
Yeah, Dustin, you did a beautiful job with the editing, like truly. Like I think it's just so, you and Chris worked so well on the timing of everything, just making it so
For real. I honestly love the little heart whisk after, you know, like the German face or whatever you call it. It was like, yeah, and I saw that. It was a last minute critique. I saw that. I was like, didn't see that one, but I loved it. I loved it. Okay.
Okay. Lindsay Shope, you guys, this is beautiful. Any word from any of the festivals yet?
Yes, we did. We got the first one. We got the LA Queer Fest, and
Hey.
we've had some responses from others, but it's like what 20? I think it's 24 we submitted to, so we're still waiting for the rest. I think 12 of those are Academy eligible, so it's very exciting.
It was very exciting. I actually had a moment this morning in the shower.
Oh gosh.
And visualized us at the Academy Awards. So
Oh.
that.
And when you say us at the Academy, you mean like virtually from our living rooms?
No, I'm talking in person, all of us there at the round table.
Yeah, when they skip it off to 2022, and yeah, we're all there. Yeah.
No timeline up here, you know.
When Shawn gets the Academy for Best Love Interest of the Year, right, Shawn?
I'm ready.
Literally create a category specifically for you.
Yeah, done.
God, it's about
Check.
time.
I love your haircut, by the way.
DIY quarantine.
Yes.
So,
We got some people rolling in. This is sweet.
All right. Let's see. Dallas, with such a strong musical theater background, what was it like to transition more into film acting?
Ooh, great question.
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Like, luckily, that's kind of where I've been the past 4 years. So, I mean, it's been an adjustment for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've had wonderful teachers and coaches and people who've kind of helped me geared more towards that direction. So I don't know what's the long form. Like, this is a long way to answer it, but I think it's different for sure. I don't feel like I have to with this film. It was just kind of being present and letting things happen naturally. Like, I didn't have to like create this backstory or just really like fully like, you know, do all this work. Like, it was my life indirectly. So it was kind of like, how can I just let the thing, like the church scene is the one I always think about, was like, it just kind of happened. Like, and then it just rolled. I mean, like the emotion naturally watching Rob as like the preacher and the things he was saying, because he was actually like behind the scenes, was like reading some like homophobic things off of the pamphlet while we were sitting there, and I just went. I mean, it was just easy to do. I mean, and it was easy because I don't feel like I have to be like, look, I'm crying, right? Or look, I'm sad. Like, we're sometimes in theater, we have to like project that, even though we really shouldn't probably. There, I mean, like the camera was probably like 10 feet away from me. So I just let it happen, and they got to capture really what was happening in the moment in person. So that probably didn't answer the question, but that's what I can say.
I can say that you're a coming from a theater background, because I've worked with theater actors on camera, and it's just like you say, you project, you play to the back of the room, to where on camera that comes off completely different.
Way too much.
On you just
Actually,
dial it back, and you're just very natural.
To piggyback off this, Linda says in the Q&A, not a question, a comment. The acting was so good. The facial expressions without dialogue could so easily been overdone, and they were just perfectly on point.
Oh,
It left
wow.
me wanting so much more of the story. It also left me in tears. Good job, Sky. And I agree with that. Like, coming from people in the theatrical background, like you said, have to project, and they have these big actions, very animated personalities. Their body language is very big and bold, but it was so spot on that you and Shawn had such a great connection, and it wasn't overdone. And like your face is like, even with the coffee mug, that little subtle, like, you know, what, like all those things like could have been way overdone. And it was excellent. You guys really made my job easy, to be honest. It was.
And honestly, too, like, I'm just very animated in real life. So, like, sometimes I have to really watch how I am, just because that's me. But that's where, like, Shawn was great, too, because when Shawn auditioned for the film, yes, we didn't know Shawn ahead of time. Like, Shawn was so, like, naturally expressive without having to be like, look, I'm expressing now. And that was one thing and Shawn had this, like, essence to him in the audition I'll never forget that was just so, like, calming, but so... like, he was in control, which is what exactly, like, I think Sam and I were looking for this character. And I just think he nailed it, like, truly.
Yeah.
And that was easy. He knows I love him. It was easy for us to work together and kind of be the opposites in a way of each other. But yeah, I don't know.
Also, we're getting a lot of comments from Damon and Bridget Berger about the Chinese food scene was very relatable.
Y'all, I was on keto for that, and I broke that freaking diet just for that scene.
So much.
Remember
Chinese.
that?
It's like old movie too. That was just straight.
That was old. That's right.
That fight. It was.
And Dustin's like logic for how to make me feel bad about it. He's like, well, I'll heat it up. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Your MSGs.
Dallas, how do you feel now that the story has been shared with the world? We love you. That was from Odette Perez.
Oh, I'm nervous. I don't know. I was really nervous tonight. I think I told everyone who's on the panel right now, like, I think it's just a matter of like figuring out like how people perceive it, you know, like it's one of those things, like we said, we didn't want to tell someone how to interpret it or what to believe or what to take away from it. So why is everyone laughing? And so yeah, I think I'm curious to see different people's takeaways from it, how they feel about it, because we know how we feel about it, but we're so close to it at this point that, you know, we know what we think, but I'm curious to see what other people think and how they react to it.
Yeah, I wish I could hear what you guys have to say. Like,
Are they
right now.
commenting? Are they saying their favorite parts and whatever?
Yeah, and a little bit. There's some
Curious.
great questions. James has a really good one, and the Avenue. I think people are more just curious about the whole thing, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. James said, Dallas, you're awesome, and I'm a huge fan. #Trey. Just like you, just like me, you've struggled with homosexuality and Christianity and coming of age and the weaving of it all. How do you relate to the main character, and what gave you the inspiration to make the film?
Great question.
Is he talking? That's a question for me.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I mean, it was really like my story. Like a lot of these things in the film are actual things that happened to me in real life. And we may have expanded or added a little bit to them, but all of them are pretty accurate. So I didn't have to relate to the character because I felt like I was the character. And so, it was very, like I said, a lot of the acting, everything just happened naturally because I had lived it and in a way was re-experiencing it for the film. So there wasn't really anything that I had to, you know, I didn't feel like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to connect to this story or this character, because it was like literally, for the most part, it is my story and it is me. So it wasn't a stretch at all.
The Avenue Agency said, Dallas, Sam mentioned this story was your truth, a brave and honorable choice to share. Thank you. The Bible speaks strongly of sharing love and acceptance, despite the church's stance on sexuality, homo and heterosexual. I wonder if your parents have a reaction to the story, particularly if the fact that the story is so driven by emotion as opposed to dialogue moved their hearts. This short is going to make the church as a whole look inward and question individual choices. Also, marketing choices on this are spot on. Love it.
Yay! I don't know which one, but thank you, whoever said that. Fallon, who's not
that was
here.
the Avenue.
The Avenue?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you, the Avenue. Yeah, the long story short is my parents really don't know this film exists, if I'm being totally honest. There's some tea for you. They just don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where like it's not that I haven't told them or like purposely haven't said anything. It's just this part of my life they don't care to be a part of or know much about. So as of this point, they don't know. So yeah, maybe they'll find out one day, or maybe they'll see it. But I don't think they're in a place to hear or see the things yet. I think they're still coming, which is totally respectful. They're coming to grips with their own journey with this right now. So yeah.
Michaela C said her favorite part was seeing the connection between the two characters.
Y'all, I have so much love for that man. Like if I could, I didn't know him obviously because he auditioned, but Shawn is like, he was like, day 2 of filming, I was really stressed out and just overwhelmed, but Shawn really like kind of had my back a lot, which was, I don't know, and I've talked about that with so many people about how much like calming presences, that's not even a word, a calming presence Shawn brought to set, and like how, you know, like I had like multiple hats because obviously it was like I was part of the screenwriting and then helped with production and you know, produced part of it too. So it was like trying to like do that and also like act was a lot of hats to wear, and Shawn at times was like, hey, focus on what you got to focus on. I'll make sure this is done. Like, Shawn was amazing. Y'all.
Yeah, I remember it's like it was yesterday. The second day we were actually, yeah, the second day we were filming at the church. I just remember Shawn coming up to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take Dallas on a walk." I'm like, "Hey, man, do your thing, man. Do your thing." And so I just like, yeah, it's such a like everybody was such a team player, and it was so beautiful just to witness, and it was so easy, and it made it so fun and enjoyable, and it's so cool.
Y'all, Shawn Philip Cornelius, #relationship goals. Like, that's what you need in your life.
Y'all. No, I thought it was just really important that we took that moment and that time. I know that, like, you know, a schedule is really important, but, like, Dallas was, like, stressed out. So I was like, hey, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. I know no one here. Let's just take a moment and, like, get on the same page so that we can, you know, do what we need to do when the camera's rolling. So we just had a little chat.
We did. It was so great, y'all.
A little chat and a stroll.
We did. We did some character work. We went on a date.
Yeah, because so much of it, like, the experience was like, I just came in and just said yes. I mean, a script was kind of like sent to me, and then showing up, I just trusted Sam, and then I was just had to be in the moment with Dallas, and it was just relying so much on that training that I had no idea what was going to come of it. I'm so glad that this is a beautiful piece of art that came together, but at the time I was like, I have no idea. I'm just trusting these people and saying yes, and I'm so proud of you guys and what we created together. It's a really beautiful thing. So
I feel like that's a lot of film sets too. It's like you're on and you're like, I don't know what's about to
Always.
I don't know what the final product's about to be, but I'm in. Let's do it. It was so much fun. And Shawn, you're awesome, dude. It was such a pleasure working with all of you guys. Mm-hmm. And it won't be the last time, that's for sure. That was too much fun.
Apparently a sequel is in the works.
Yeah.
News to me.
What they want. I'm working on the script.
Maybe in the sequel, Shawn breaks up with me, and then
I'm already on Celtex. You guys don't know that.
Also, we need to give a shout out to Fallon Poston,
yes,
because she couldn't be here tonight, but she rocks.
She's awesome, and she's has a little baby on the way. So pray for her.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
She, if you guys don't know Fallon, she is handling all of our social media marketing, and she's was there on set. She was also with Alex in the scene at the table scene at the restaurant scene when Harry, which is one of my favorites. It's such a good scene, and yeah, so she really did a lot.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Maggie Pelton asked, "How does your family feel about this, and do they know about it?"
I think
you just answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I have other family members who've seen it, and a lot of them have been like, "Oh, I didn't know this happened," or, I mean, because you don't really you don't really talk about it. I mean, you do, but you don't. Like, some people don't really know what it looks like or how it felt. So I think this really is going to give insight to a lot of family members who haven't already seen it.
Yeah.
Dallas, you said your parents aren't ready to see it. You said they're kind of going through their own journey. Do you think this will help them through that journey if you showed them?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it just depends. Who knows? I mean, I think we're always right. It's a journey for everyone. So when we're open for the next step, I think it'll be a part of it for them, or give them insight that maybe they didn't have. Because I think when you're in the moment and you're in the emotion, like, we don't realize which is what we talked about when we storyboarded this. The beginning was all actions and words have a consequence, and sometimes we don't know what that's going to look like. Mm-hmm. And I think their intentions have always been pure and good, which is why we didn't want to demonize them in this film. We wanted just to show facts of what happened and how it unfolded and what basically came to be. Though I did not fall in love with a waiter, and we don't go to church together. That's not a thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it gives insight to people who maybe say things or do things and they don't think about how that's going to make people react or how they feel about it after. There's a cause and effect to all of it.
Well, if we have a follow-up film, I think that's where we should focus our story, because your mom is Mom is calling you before you go into your new community, your new church. Who knows what that phone call was going to consist of? But
Absolutely.
That might be kind of fun to follow up with the emotion and the struggles more with your family as opposed to the faith, where we focus more on.
I think the cool part is, like, I feel like this, like, how we filmed it, there's so many, like, we know what we had in mind, right? But, like, I think people could take that phone call in so many directions. Like, maybe she's, you know, they don't know why she's calling. So I think even the ending, too, lends itself for people to have their own interpretation of how we're ending. I mean, I think when we first showed a few people, like, I was hearing, like, oh, so did they, like, are they going back to a church, or is everything fine now? Or so I think there's, like, ways for people to interpret things differently, which I think is cool about us not having dialogue either.
Yeah, it's a little ambiguous because we didn't show them exactly at church at the end, but it has that feel, you know, like where they go. He's accepted. There's a community there that Shawn's character is bringing him to, and the not talking to the mother thing when you see the hang up where he puts it in his pocket. It's such a strong move for that character because just after all, like, what their parents, keep God first, don't bother coming home from Christmas. Now he's finally in this new atmosphere of acceptance, and he puts it in his phone. He's like, I don't want any negativity right now. But like you said, there's so many open ends and so many different ways of interpretation because everybody interprets emotion differently. And if they could recall it to all these different things in their own lives, even though they might not be, you know, parallel with your story, the emotions, the raw emotions that this story brings out are going to be parallel, whether the experience is vastly different or not. And that's what brought me onto this film, because when I was reading the synopsis and the breakdown, I was like, it brought out so much core emotion and I was visualizing old memories that I must have repressed, like from as a kid and stuff, because I felt it. And I think that's what is really moving about the story, is whether or not your story is exactly what Dallas's story is. It could be completely opposite, but those core emotions are what we've all experienced at least one point or another in our life. Love, fear, the wanting, the desire for acceptance, to fit in. So moving to me, man. Every time I watch it, I just love it a little bit more.
Chris, we have a question for you.
Okay.
What was your inspiration for the score? And P.S. Dallas, we love you. Also, this is Jeff. That was from Rachel Blair.
That's
Love
I mean, really, the inspiration was the story itself. I mean, I have to hand Dallas and Shawn and everyone who was on screen for their performances. But I mean, it was. I mean, the inspiration that I drew from was really just being involved, almost from kind of a conceptualization point of the film, and just being involved in the writing process. I was on set. Dustin and I were constantly going back and forth about editing and pacing, just because the music and the edit played, you know, hand in hand, more noticeably than they would in a kind of normal, you know, a talkie, to show my age.
I haven't heard that since, like, Singing in the Rain.
Right. But I mean, it really was. There was a point where I basically just said, okay, I can't sit in my studio and just, you know, sit at my computer and decide, oh, what notes are going to be here. I just kind of sat down at my piano for an hour, my upright piano in my living room for an hour, and was just like, what is the crux of this film? And strangely enough, I basically just kind of threw out this melody, which is what you hear at the end of the film, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, this is what I need to say. Now, how do I say it? You know, how do I say it to where it fits the film? And that's basically what it was. And just figuring out, you know, where there were quite a few different discussions with Dallas specifically about where the music needed to pull back and really where it needed to kind of flex its muscle. And the two biggest points you see it flexing its muscle are when he walks out of the first church, and it's just like, I've had it, I cannot handle it. And that's kind of where you hear this big swell of just kind of almost musical oppression. And then the second point is when he's basically walking into the crowd at the next church, and it's just like, you basically have almost the same kind kind of music and the same volume, but instead of being oppressive, it's literally the kind of driving force. It is pushing him toward this ultimate goal of, I've found a place to be. And that was basically my kind of task throughout the whole process, just figuring out how to best musically say that, you know, and feed off of the performances.
The music was beautiful.
It really
I got
was.
chills listening to it.
Thank you.
If I had my computer, I said this earlier to you guys, but if I had my computer over here and some guy or some girl or somebody or a group of people were over there, they'd probably think I'm watching a Pixar film.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. So spot on, man.
Let's drop the score on Spotify.
Yeah, for real.
I'll edit it down or like break it into chunks. Just be like, all right, and here's the inspirational part, and here's the really depressing part.
Right?
I'll do the ad libs.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. We got a couple comments. Bev Mayan Netch, I think I said that right. She said, it was beautiful, organic, and moving. Love being a part of it.
Oh yeah, Bev was I think an extra on the first day. I remember, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Sydney Eisenhower. My favorite part was the ending and seeing Dalton feel loved and accepted. Love you, Dallas.
Oh. Sydney, actually, so funny story. Sydney, here, I'm giving backstory on all the people who commented. She actually grew up in the church that I went to as a kid. So kind of witnessed and experienced a lot of these things that happened.
Huh. Okay. Maggie Pelton. Shawn is adorable, and I loved feeling his emotion. It really was so genuine. Thank you.
Yes, Shawn.
Thanks,
Zach
Maggie.
Triscari. Thank you for creating such a relatable piece of art. This story is so familiar and so real. It's comforting as a member of the LGBTQ plus community to experience this film. Hugs and kisses.
Yeah, I would say, Dallas, I would like to say something on that. Thank you so much. I just hope that the people who really need to see this are able to, because it's not just, you know, queer people, but our families can see this and it can really heal a lot of pain, you know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you so much sharing your story and letting us all be a part of that.
It's a humbling, like, this whole thing has just been so humbling and like surreal. And I think it's going to continue because obviously we're just now, even though we filmed it 6 months ago, like, it's just now starting to like venture in the world. So like, I still have to like pinch myself, if I'm being honest. Like, it just feels so like this shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, who gets to do this? So thank you all. Like, I'm honestly like so grateful for all of you for being a part of something like this. I mean, yeah, we all got paid, but like, you know, like, I feel like we all wanted to do this and everyone was so passionate about it. So that really means a lot to me.
Okay. Should we read more comments?
I mean, sure, if you want to just go for a few, or if you had any, like, I guess you wanted to ask.
Do them up.
I had some questions.
Lacey,
wow.
there's one more question. Lacey's got
Okay.
it.
Lacey said, I'm so proud of this team of artists for coming together to beautifully and powerfully tell Dal's story. Well done. My question is, how does the message of this film change or add meaning to you given the current isolating conditions of COVID?
Interesting. That's a great question, Lacey. I think it, for me personally, it stays the same. And
yeah,
it's like whether we're isolated or whether, you know, everything is, and I don't want to say back to normal. I hate that, but everything is open and accessible, let's say. I think there's those core emotions again. It's when the message of this story is like, you can't live in this little subconsciousness of fear by doing right by God and doing right by your family and trying to do right by yourself. It puts you in this bubble, whether you know it or not. You're just making every decision out of fear. And I've been there. And that's what I relate to it so much. And I think that it all stays the same. It's like, you have to do right by who you truly are, because God made you special in your own way. And there's no denying that. And it's the more you deny that, the more fear and like, you're just not going to feel right. And there's a passion and desire in each of us to do whatever it is we're called to do. And the more we tap into that and the more we get in tune with it, the more we're going to see the universe unfold to us. And it's, God made Tao the way Tao is, and God made me and all of us the way we are. And to tell this story, and the main thing is just like, we have to accept who we are. We can't fight it, and we just got to run with it. And beautiful things will happen when we do that. And I think it's the same now more than ever. Especially, it's like, we can't go back to the way things were. It will never be the same. But what we can do is we have this time now to be isolated, to be alone with our thoughts, to be ourselves, to be comfortable in our own skins, and to really take this time and dive deep. Is who am I? Like, who do I want to be? Let's get comfortable. Let's do this. And I think now more than ever, this message is a powerful. This whole movie is a powerful message to just saying, like, whoever you are, embrace it, love it, be it, and just go out and just live your life to the best it is, and worry about doing right by you, and worry about, just be respectful to others, but do right by you, and everything will fall into place. And I think right now more than ever, it's a great time for this message. And
I think if anything, like, COVID just gives you a chance to think about it more.
yeah,
Like, you have more time to kind of sit with your thoughts and take it in more. But of course, like, not a lot of, like, there's only, like, the people who came today have really seen it besides us. So, I guess for us, the impact's going to be different than it would be other people. But I think our goal's always been for people to walk out and just kind of take it in and really reflect on how it made them feel and what the impact of that was. So maybe the people who are watching today, all of you who are here, maybe you will, it'll give you time to actually think about that, a little bit more than maybe you had prior.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, COVID is just adding a little more time, like you said, that. Yeah, just a little more time to ponder.
I think that it will hopefully ignite some very important conversations. Like, to me, I think you see Dallas's pain, and I'm hoping that a mom or a father or a grandmother or an aunt or whatever will be like, I know someone who has that pain because of, for whatever reason, the convictions that I have. Maybe it'll inspire them to pick up the phone, because the storytelling is not too heavy-handed. So I think it's really inspires open-mindedness.
That's a great point. Yeah, I love that.
I'm going to read these last two comments we got.
Great.
From Madeline Oldham. The open-endedness of the phone call was one of my favorite parts. Leaves people wanting more and asking questions, which is so important when it comes to these themes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Madeline. Actually, Dustin, am I still mother in your phone?
No.
Oh, man. That was a proud moment for me.
My mother's actually in my phone as her name, and so you're the only mother in my phone.
Oh, fantastic.
Not anymore?
No, Sam got a new number, and
oh, that's right.
But he was mother for a good 2 months, I think.
Yeah. Just call me mama.
Okay. Tammy, Dallas, so proud of you. Love you and love the film. Hoping it comes to Texas. Thank you to all of the amazing people who made this powerful message.
Thanks for watching. Seriously, we had about 50, little over 50 people, and
that's awesome.
That blew my mind. I was so cool. And the fact that it's Memorial Day weekend, and you decided to spend your Saturday evening.
No, I didn't even know that. I just want to add that in.
I know, right? I had no idea.
But it's it's a powerful thing, and it's such a beautiful, and I'm very grateful. And yeah, it's awesome.
And Laura Pritt.
Oh.
Not really a question, just a comment. The story was beautifully done, and thank you, Dallas, for sharing your story with us. Greg and I both send love and are thankful for you. Wish we had been closer when you were growing up, and even now. Thankful for social media so we can keep up with you. We love and support you. Side note, keep tap dancing. Your posts make my day.
Thank you. That's how
the ones on the porch lately have been phenomenal.
Oh, listen, that's all Maggie Pelton. I don't know if she's still here, but that was my dance professor, and she was like, "Hey, come dance with me." And so I have, and it's been great. On Friday, I about died, but that's okay. So no worries. But that actually cool thing is like Laura Pritt is like a distant relative that I don't fully know and haven't really met. So that's really cool that she was here for this.
Huh. It's awesome.
Right?
Already bringing family together, baby.
I know. What?
That's cool.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who watched it tonight. I hope you loved it. And yeah, I think we have the Facebook page for Our Hearts Calling to keep up with all the updates of film festivals.